Alright, in section 2.7 we're going to be talking about graphing lines. And so I'm going to show you three different examples that include three different ways to graph lines. The first example is graphing by points. So it says graph 5x plus y equals 18 by finding 3 points on the line. Alright? And so what we want to do is we just want to pick random values for either x or y. In this case I'm just going to use x. And so for the first one, we're going to use x equals 3. And so we're just going to plug 3 in for x. That's going to give us 5 times 3 plus y equals 18. And then we're just going to solve that equation. So 5 times 3 gives us 15 plus y equals 18. We're going to subtract 15 on both sides, and we get y equals 3. Now, we need to remember to put this in and plot this as a point. So our ordered pair there is going to be 3, 3 in this case. All right. For my next point, I just chose randomly x equals 4. And so we're going to plug 4 in. That's going to give us 5 times 4 plus y is equal to 18. We're going to solve it just like we did the last equation. That's going to give us 20 plus y is equal to 18. We subtract 20 on both sides and we get y is equal to negative 2. We write that one as a point and we get 4 comma negative 2. We have to do this for one more, so I chose x equals 2. Once we do that, we get 5 times 2 plus y equals 18, and we're just going to solve that. That's going to give us 10 plus y equals 18. We subtract 10 on both sides, and we get y equals 8. And so our third point is 2, 8. Now we're going to graph it. Alright, so we have our 3 points. We have 3, 3, 4, negative 2, and 2, 8. And so what we want to do now is we want to make our graph, and we're going to plot those points. So we plot 3, 3, we go over 3 and up 3, over to the right 3 and then up 3. We plot 4, 2, we go over to the right 4 and then down 2. And then to plot 2, 8, we go over 2 and up 8. And so now we have our 3 points. And to finish this problem up, we just draw a line through those. And we want to make sure that we put arrows on both ends because it does continue to go in both directions. All right. Now we're going to graph using the intercepts. Alright, for our example with the intercepts, we're going to use, it's going to say graph the line 10x plus 4y is equal to 8 by finding the intercepts. And so what we want to do first is find the x-intercept. And so we do that by plugging in 0 for y. That's going to give us 10x plus 4 times 0 is equal to 8. 4 times 0 is 0, so that gives us 10x equals 8. We divide both sides by 10, and we get x is equal to 8 tenths. That can reduce, so let's go ahead and do that. That's going to give us x is equal to 4 fifths. And now we write that as a point. That's going to be 4 fifths, comma 0. Alright, so that is our first point here. Now we need to find the y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, we plug 0 in for x. So that's 10 times 0 plus 4y is equal to 8. And we just go through and solve now. So 4y is equal to 8. Divide both sides by 4. We get y equals 2. We write that as a point. We get 0, comma 2. Alright. So now we have our two intercepts, and we can graph our line. Alright, so we have our points. We have 4 fifths, 0, and 0, comma 2, so we need to plot both of these. So when we plot 4 fifths, that is a fraction. It is between 0 and 1, but a little bit closer to 1, so we're going to plot it on the x-axis right before we get to 1 right there. For our y intercept, that's 0, comma 2, so we're just going to plot that point on the y-axis. Now that we have both of our points plotted, we're just going to draw a line through them. Make sure we put our arrows on the end, and we are now finished with this problem. The last one is going to be, we're going to graph from finding, we're going to have the slope and a point, and we're going to graph using that information. Alright, so our last problem, it says graph the equation of the line with slope negative 2/3 passing through the point negative 4, comma negative 1. So for this one right here, we don't actually have to find the line. We have all the information that we need. And so the first thing we want to do is plot this point. So let's get our graph up there, and now we plotted the point -4, 1. Now remember, your slope is rise over run, so since we have -2/3, what we're going to do is we're going to go down 2 and over 3 and plot our next point, as you can see right here. Let's do one more for good measure. So we still go down 2 and over 3, and now we have 3 points here, and we're just going to draw a line through those points. Make sure we put arrows on the end of every one, and that is how you graph with the slope and a point. This is the end of section 2.7.